When you think of Kinhaven, you probably picture the main house in the rolling hills right away. That main house is a very special place. And for me, it actually has some incredible memories because I was a Kinhaven student when that house was a house. It was occupied by David Dushkin and Dorothy Dushkin, who started the camp. And Mr. D is what we called David Dushkin. There was something magical about the house because they lived there and they wanted it to be a little private. So there was a sense that there was a little castle isolated from everything else that was fun during the day, but there were hours and you couldn't always go to that house because David and Dorothy lived there. Well, I also knew that the piano that was in the house was by far the best piano. So I liked to go in there and practice. And one day, I practiced for a long time and it got to be evening. And I realized that somehow or other, I was still there past the time you were allowed to be in the house. I might have even missed dinner. I decided to hide in the room instead of going out so that everyone sees me leave the house. I don't know why I decided, but that's what I did. So I hid behind a big chair, not unlike this, a huge chair. I don't think I could be seen. Of course, I could have been wrong, but I hid there. And then in walked Mr. D. So I wasn't scared. I was very excited. Mr. D is in the room and he doesn't know I'm here. What is it like to hear Mr. D play the piano when he doesn't know anyone's listening? Because he headed right to the instrument. He sat down and he played Brahms for about half an hour. He played Brahms intermezzi and they were beautiful and very intimate and personal. And I was quite sure he didn't know that I was there. It was a great listening experience and very transformative because it made me think about the difference between playing for an audience, playing for yourself, and practicing. And also, to get a moment alone with Mr. D in the house is one of the great memories for me of Kinhaven. Now, it could be slightly off in that he might have known I was there. Maybe he saw my toes sticking out, I don't know. He also, when he stopped, there was a very long silence, and I couldn't see what was happening. For all I know, he was looking under the chair or looking around the room, but then he left. And when I heard the door close, I snuck out of the house about 10 minutes later. And to me, that house is full of magic and beauty, and it symbolizes Mr. D. And it's something we need to take care of. And I hope that if you loved Kinhaven and you went to Kinhaven as a student, or you taught there, or you had a child who went to Kinhaven, or any relative who went to Kinhaven, that you think of the main house in that way, with the special magic that it has for all of us, and help us raise the money we need to keep that house gorgeous and beautiful and standing instead of tearing it down and replacing it with some kind of modern building. It would be really a shame. So let's keep Kinhaven with the magic from the old days, which is the resonance that's sort of almost a metaphor for classical music. It's timeless and it's enduring because it symbolizes something and it means something to all of us. So let's keep it going. Everybody Gives Day is important to anyone who went to Kinhaven. If you went there as a student, if you have a child who went to Kinhaven, if you taught there, if you have any relative who went to Kinhaven, you know how magical and special the place is. So it doesn't matter how much you give. $5, $500, $5,000, we'll even take $10,000. Give whatever you can to the Kinhaven Music School on Everybody Gives Day.